My name is Kari Saraf. I'm VP of Product Management at ZPE Systems. Glad to be here in person with you today. We are announcing a new cybersecurity platform that we've perfected over the last 8 years by working with the tech giants in the industry. I'm joined by my colleague, René Newman. He's our Director of Solution Engineering. I've been doing product management for about 20 years now in cybersecurity, worked as VP of products at Palo Alto Networks, at Fortinet, and built a lot of great products in the last many years in the cybersecurity journey. But I think also that the problem is beyond great products, and it's about the integration of those products. So that would be the theme of this presentation. Is that the problem that enterprises face in cybersecurity is more complex. So if we go through a quick history of ZPE Systems, the company was founded in 2013, and in the last 8 years, we've been working with the tech giants in the industry to secure and make their infrastructure more reliable by providing a set of platforms, hardware, software, management, automation, and these are actually this next slide I think does a great job as to showing who are these customers, and then the environments and the applications that they provide to consumers. The one that we are allowed to show is Amazon, but 6 of the top 10 global giants use our technology for their hyperscale data centers. This is also banking customers, stock trading. Anybody that's really has large infrastructure, it needs to make sure that infrastructure is reliable and secure. We'll be taking this type of technology and then extending it to Fortune 1000s who do have staff on hand, are able to have aspirations for automation and integration of security. And then we are also going to be extending it to the rest of the market as we get more integrations. So introduction as to why cybersecurity for enterprise is not a single vendor solution, right? When I was at Palo or when I was at Fortinet, we always wanted everybody to buy everything from us. But really, the reality is that that's not the case. And so this problem statement slide that's on the screen, you generally see this on every other presentation as well. At least the first 2, ransomware is everywhere. Supply chain attacks on operational technology is going to kill humans. That was the Gartner one. And this is all true. The last one, I think, is what's missing from most of the slides, is that there's a need for holistic security, right? The technology is hard to operate. There's a lot of people involved. The infrastructure is really hybrid. There's scalability issues that need to be addressed. This next slide is really putting things, I think, in perspective. You see the infrastructure is here. So it's about the integration of all of these different vendors. And there's just simply too many products, need too many experts.
I think you win for the most amount of vendors in the slide.
Yes, you do.
And this is just the products that are being carried through the channel. There's 4 times this many products that people are purchasing that is actually not on this slide deck. When we surveyed some of the large enterprises, credit card companies, they said that they had 370 brands of products deployed in cybersecurity, and they're evaluating more, right? So, I think this is also a great point that cybersecurity doesn't have a spec, right? It's evolving, the new threat vectors, and they're just it's not a accounting software that you just need one and there's regulations and a particular outcome. And I think this is really the problem that I wanted to highlight, is that when I came out of being inside one of these logos and dealing from a customer point of view, that they have to put all of these things together from a cloud, from on-prem infrastructure, from branch locations, operational technology, there's just a lot of different things to put together. These are examples from customers that have used the ZPE platform, this simple one that I think most people have been doing the last few years is, how do I put the best in security, best in SD-WAN together on a platform. In this example, it's Palo Alto 128T. It could be Fortinet and Silver Peak as an example. And how do I do that at 1,000 branches such that it operates in a very seamless fashion, and also reliable and secure, right? Reliability of connectivity, obviously, for SD-WAN is really important. The other one that I learned actually quite a bit in this customer example is that operational technology and IT is coming together. And a new type of segmentation software was created by one of our partners that needed a platform to sit on. So this is not micro segmentation, not nano segmentation, but they call it pico segmentation. Not to go into that detail, but there is a platform needed to host these very specialized type of security applications. And you don't want to just keep adding hardware to your network. The third one here, pen test. Pen test, we are working with a great company, a partner of ours called Horizon 3. They do great pen testing, continuous pen testing. But to do it at all locations in the network, you need a launching pad for that pen test on all of those VLANs and on all of those branch locations. So this is a demo that Renee will be doing for us, but it's all about taking an application and actually getting it to that outcome in a very straightforward fashion, right? And that's really our goal here. The other aspects that I wanted to put out there is the migration from public cloud back to private cloud is happening. A lot of people enthusiastically went into the cloud, got a lot of applications stood up. Now, many applications can't go to the cloud for various reasons, and some are actually bringing them back for edge compute purposes and locality of access. There's regulations. There are also people asking us, everybody says secure by design, network as code. How do I actually do all of these things, right? Where is the blueprint? Where is the template? How do I get started? And then, there are all these different NIST or MITRE, or this new one that I just learned, 62443 from IAC. How do I actually implement that? What are the products that go into it? And even if I know those products, how do I put them and integrate them with each other, right? So that's the pain of integration. Another one that last week a customer brought up is ZTNA, Zero Trust Network Access. Netscope, great company, one of the leaders in SASE and Zero Trust. And then I said, yeah, what's the problem? You got, they're the leader. Then he sent me the manual and he said, okay, check out this manual. It says that you need to install these publishers. They need to be scaled up by me. If I lose access to the publisher, I can't access it. In fact, the manual says have a method to bring the publisher back online. You can't access the publisher from the network, from our network. You need to actually bring it up in an out-of-band fashion. So there's this, the operation or the bring up of this technology is kind of left as an exercise for IT admins, and then they need to now figure out how to crack that, crack that open and get it installed. So those were the problems, and then I was looking at how do I package this as the problem from the customer's point of view or from an IT practitioner's point of view, where you have to deal with that platform that this needs to sit on, the software that needs to host it, and then these security apps that need to be running from simple stuff, NGFW, pen test, XDR probe, ZTNA publishers, the examples that I had, but you saw there were so many logos there, authentication, for example. And then on top, there's a management layer. There's a direction that AI ops is the answer ultimately, where the machines look at all the signals, they make decisions, but they need all of that signals to go there. So this is that layered sandwich, and I try to even use sandwich colors there to show that. But then I said, let's just put the real sandwich up there, and make a couple of points here. Is that the goal here is, a customer wants the entire sandwich, right? Whereas the patty is or the components, it really needs to be consistent. It needs to be complete and ready to go. And from a vendor perspective, we are putting a lot of different pieces out on the for the customers to put their sandwich together, or even cook the meat and then put it together. So from my perspective, as as vendors, we really need to think as an ecosystem of products coming together in a simple fashion. And I think that was actually the strength of public cloud and why everybody went there, is that if I take the example on the left-hand side, these 4 layers, AWS takes care of 2 of them really well. They give you the hardware, they give you the platform for the software. You bring your own app. In fact, you can also pick it from the marketplace. There is also a blueprint to orchestrate it, and it's ready to go. And so it's simple, right? Now, if you want to do the same thing on-prem, what do you do? And so that's kind of left as an exercise for the customer. And so if I then use the ZPE colors, our goal here is to really do what AWS did for the cloud, for the on-prem community, both in terms of running the customer's app, but also running the security that those customer apps need in the middle. And the way that that's actually brought to market is a combination of hardware, depending on where this is being deployed in the data center all the way to the edge, the software, the Node-RED OS that enables the out-of-band access to this infrastructure. It also hosts apps from third party, but we also have our own apps that customers can run. And then in terms of management and automation, we have on-prem management, we have a cloud, we also have on-prem cloud. And then there are also partners that we are working with for orchestration, from SaltStack to Ansible, and then several others. So it's about openness. It's about being able to say yes to this combination of N-squared type problem that exists out there in terms of integration. And we have blueprints for this type of integration that can work in a data center. In this example on the screen, it's about this a branch deployment where our router server combination device can host several applications, consolidate several pieces of hardware together, but also run third-party NGFW, SD-WAN, pen test, or any other type of Docker you have on it, all automated and orchestrated by ZPE Cloud. So last slide here, right? And I think you agree with this, that cybersecurity is a team sport, right? A lot of things need to come together from hardware, from third-party hardware, from customers' existing legacy hardware, all the way to the applications that need to run both security and customer applications. And all of this needs to be simplified such that you can get to that outcome in a very quick fashion. So our promise to the customer and our mission really is this zero pain ecosystem. Yes, it's spelled ZPE, but really it's about simplifying life in cybersecurity.
Just really quick before we go on to that, for folks who may not be familiar with ZPE at all,
yeah.
Just to kind of roll that back a little bit, it sounds like there's basically a network operating system. You're also doing hardware, and you're doing the controller software as well.
Correct. Yeah. So everything in blue on that slide is ZPE provides. So on the thanks for that question, by the way. So on the bottom of the screen, and I'll point to it at least for the people in the room, there are serial consoles that were developed for data center automation, for multi-million node data center operation. These are, as an example, I'll give you a really cool example of in that security, is that in regulated industries like banking, they need to update the SSL certificates of their servers, but also of the IPMI ports of those servers, right? Now, how do you do that at million nodes with certificates that are not self-signed, right? These are actually legit certificates from DigiCert, right? So you need to actually scroll through a million nodes and stay ahead of those certificates. So that's done using the serial console ports of those servers plus the IPMI port. And so those are the products on the left. The service routers are Intel-based devices. They run a version of Linux that we harden and we put out of band as part of it, called Node-RED OS. And the ability to do zero-touch, zero-trust provisioning using Ansible scripts as an example, or Python scripts, that's what that platform is. So to server guys, it looks like a server. To networking guys, it looks like a networking device. And then for application folks, it looks like there's Docker applications running at the edge of the network. Then because it's an open platform, that's where customers say, I want to run this application, or I want to run my, sometimes we don't even know what it runs on it because it's proprietary, right? It's proprietary automation, but we're able to host it and enable them to do that. And that's why it's open from the top. We have APIs that enable, as an example, StackStorm is the one Renee is going to demo to receive signals and actually action the box. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So, I mean, not to reduce it too far, right? But I mean, we're really talking about delivering on the promise of a universal CPE that I think people have been talking about for a long time.
I think so, yeah. So we were using the word UCPE. It's just that UCPE had a bad name because it just...
Because no one did it right.
No one did it right, right? It was the hardware guys were saying it's the CPE. They left the entire experience to the end user, and that's not... In fact, to that point, as I was doing the voice of customer with some of our operational technology customers, they said that, I was like, why did you choose this platform, right? And the answer was that they needed out of band, they needed zero trust, they needed ability to run their application without doing extra work. And this was the only platform that enabled them to load their image in a cloud, write a script, and have all of those boxes automatically download and get into operational status without doing any extra engineering work, which they always found was a challenge with any other product. So I found that to be very valuable feedback for me.
Yeah, it becomes the one-stop shop instead of having to look towards multiple different vendors for one's for an out-of-band solution, one's going to be for the hardware, one will provide you. It gives you everything right here. And I know for a while it's been something that's been adamant. People have been hungry for it and wanted it.
Yeah, and to just build on that, I think people take it to that 80% point and then it doesn't get traction, so they give up.
Yeah.
Right? It's about that final 20% that really makes it a complete solution. That really why people buy point solutions, let's say from Cisco or other people, is because they do that final 20%.
Yeah.
So we are getting that final 20% done for a UCPE delivery experience.
So are you able to integrate that though with other platforms, or does everything have to run on this platform?
An example?
Like suppose I have a larger site that's using another hypervisor or things, and I still want to be able to manage, or I have sites with physical firewalls.
Yeah, actually,
virtual ones and all.
Beautiful question. That's actually what that last bottom row is about. So it is about actually us doing it to the customer's infrastructure. That is one of the other demos. We have Fortinet as an example in one of the demos where it's what runs on our platform, but really it's also what runs next to our platform, which is where we started at, right? So we started with, we are an out-of-band solution that you can access from remote. You don't cut your own legs off if you make a mistake, it's always there. And it's about automating and orchestrating third-party stuff that's sitting next to us, however way it's connected. Ethernet, SSH, web actually was another one, like with Meraki. Meraki is so cloud-based that they don't have a CLI, but they have a web interface that you can do some things including upgrading that image if it breaks. So, which happened to a customer. So then they had to put our devices next to it to revive the Merakis because they have 1,200 locations and truck roll is really expensive for them. So it is about making sure that whatever you have, and that's actually why the ecosystem. So if I bring this back up, the circles around the ecosystem, they are third-party equipment. There's even PDU, so you can reboot a switch after an upgrade in case it gets stuck. It's as if you were virtually present in that remote location for all aspects. There's also a set of sensors that for preventive maintenance, but so dry contact, airflow in case the fan starts getting clogged. But sometimes it's not the network or it's not software, it's that somebody went and unplugged the cable, right? So then how do you deal with that? Or just they switch the power off and you're like, hey, why is this not working? You start, troubleshooting and it's like the power is out, right? So those types of sensors, they flow up to a data lake, and the instrumentation can say, the power went off in this office and that's why it's not responding. So you don't even have to do the troubleshooting, right? It will even tell you. Or on the sensor side, the cabinet door was open, right? So that could be a signal that, okay, 10 minutes before network went down, cabinet was open. So let's start with physical investigation versus start troubleshooting. How BGP, is the BGP down? No, it's not BGP. It's somebody unplugged the cable. So does that answer your question?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I was figuring nobody can, greenfield something like this. So how do you integrate with what the physical world has there? And that's a great answer.